have those
Okay,
two
hold
you would
on
think
a second.
they would have video of the people walking up to it, right? They have this angle. That's a surveillance camera. So I would assume that if people walked up to the monument in the minutes before this and put explosives there, that they have video of it.
All right. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Check one, check one, check one, check one. There we go. All right, let's do this. James Parker, get in here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Pillow Talk stream, the second of 2 streams that we do each and every day here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. This one we call Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk. Hi, James. How are you?
I am well, sir. Thank you for asking.
Okay, you are very hot. You know why? Because you fixed whatever problem there was last night, and I had you way cranked up.
Okay.
So can you give me a little bit of a 5 count?
Yeah, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Perfect. Look at him. Doesn't he sound good? All right. I think that's it. I think that's good. All right, folks, as I say, sorry, running a little bit late today. Summer rules. I've been saying this for weeks now. There's going to be some, I'm still going to be cranking out these shows every day, Monday through Friday. We do the high noon show that comes on at noon. That's topic driven. That's current events, headlines, all that kind of stuff. Then what happens is take a little break, double back, come back at 9 o'clock. We do Pugs and Parker, this version of the stream. It's called Pillow Talk, and we do this every Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. all time Central. It's the only time zone we acknowledge around here, but it's the summertime, James. You know, there's going to be the occasional Friday taking off. There's going to be the occasional, we're running a little bit late because we couldn't get out of the pool in time. Like, that's the situation that just occurred here. Look at me. I'm straight from the pool. Look at me living the life of leisure.
Again, there was a candidate.
Life's tough in town.
Yeah, we did.
Right?
We played some full contact Marco Polo today. We played about 3 hours.
Nice.
3 hours worth of Marco Polo. We were supposed to go to Hurricane Harbor, and I guess by the time we signed off the afternoon show, maybe it's Wet and Wild now? I don't know, whatever it's called.
No. It's Hurricane Harbor. Or it might be something else, but it was Wet and Wild when I was a kid.
Okay, so
then they changed it to Hurricane Harbor when I was like 20, and everyone's like, we're not saying that.
You know, it's funny because we have that in Chicago too. And it was Wet and Wild when I was younger, and then they started changing with the names, and then I moved to Dallas. I don't know what it's called, but I think are they all called Hurricane Harbors now? All the Six Flag water parks?
I don't know. I really don't know. I just find that amusing because the tide has turned in recent years, but I remember for about the first 10 years or so of the new Cowboy Stadium, they still called it Texas Stadium. Like, no one called it Cowboy Stadium. No one called it AT&T Stadium. And that's kind of started to soften up lately. But for about a decade there, it was still, people were resisting that name change.
This ballpark where my team, the Chicago White Sox, play hasn't been Comiskey Park since 1992. It has been Cellular One Field or the Cell, and now it's Guaranteed Rate. Same structure, the rate and the Cell. It's been either the rate or the Cell for the last, since 1992. You will be hard-pressed to find anybody on the south side of Chicago that doesn't still call it Comiskey. We refuse, because Comiskey was the name of the founder and the owner of the team that goes all the way back to like the 1890s. Charlie Comiskey. So it's Comiskey Park. We're Southside. We ain't gonna sell out to some corporate interest just because you paid a premium dollar to have your name slapped on our ballpark. Yes, we all still just call it Comiskey. But I totally get that. I mean, why not just call AT&T Stadium Cowboy Stadium or Cowboy or Texas Stadium? Well, you can't call it Texas Stadium because it's not Texas Stadium. Texas Stadium was a thing. It was a specific thing in a specific place. The Cowboys happened to have played there.
I always thought Texas Stadium was a hilarious name because you're representing the entire state of Texas here in. Is it a representation for the entire? There's another NFL franchise that's just down the road, you buttholes. You don't have to commandeer the name for the whole state, kind of like the Rangers Rangers did with the name Texas Rangers.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
Since we're waxing poetic now about the glory days of former Dallas-Fort Worth area stadiums, everybody actually every NFL aware person on the planet knew what Texas Stadium was. Texas Stadium was not just iconic in Dallas. It was iconic from coast to coast in the NFL. Everybody, primarily because of the Cowboys teams of the 70s and because of the America's team motto and because of, the 90s Super Bowl runs and all that stuff. But everybody knew Texas Stadium. James, one of the first things that I wanted to see when I came to Dallas for the very first time was Texas Stadium. And when I saw it, I went, wait, that thing's just like nestled on the medium between like two highways. That's like, I thought it was going to be this grand, beautiful stadium. And by the way, I love that stadium. I've been to more Cowboy games at the old Texas Stadium than I have at the AT&T Stadium. I love the old Texas Stadium. But it was just like most of these iconic things in the world, when you're very excited to see them because you've built them up to legendary and mythological status in your mind. When you finally see them, you're like, that's it? That's like Graceland. Graceland is very much like that. When you see Elvis's house, you're like, my aunt has a bigger house than that. It's like, what? This was Elvis's? This is like a normal person's house. I mean, it's on a beautiful property. Don't get me wrong, but
Fenway was like that. Fenway, like, is that your minor league team? Oh no, that's the Fenway. Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, and I see you have that green monster, not because it's some amazing, feat of sports strength. It's because there's a Citgo gas station next door that's taking up that lot. So you just had to build it straight up. Okay, I get it.
Well, they couldn't make the field big enough. That would be about a 280-foot porch out there for home runs if they didn't put up a 1,000-foot wall to keep
everything. Oh yeah. And God forbid you knock over that gas station though. That's a priceless work of architecture there, the Citgo.
But literally a fly ball that would be a pop-up in 100% of the other stadiums in the world, just a pop-up to shallow right center. That now, you have to build a 1,000-foot wall because that pop-up, that easy fly, that can of corn in baseball parlance, that's a home run if they don't have a 1,000-foot green monster there. Yeah. So you were disappointed with Fenway?
Underwhelmed. I don't want to say disappointed because I was sort of expecting an old, kitschy, small-ish stadium. So I didn't have the bar set too high. Just say I was disappointed.
That is the underwhelmed. Underwhelmed is how I would also describe my experience at Fenway Park. The only iconic stadium that I've been to that lived up in every regard to what the reputation and the legacy of that I've been to was Yankee Stadium. Now, granted, I was at Yankee Stadium for a World Series game. So, I mean, it was a bit different atmosphere. It was.
How fun is that?
And it was also the clinching World Series game. They won the World Series when we just happened to have been. Well, we didn't just happen to be. We went there specifically for, because we had. It was through the radio station and all that. Anyway, Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium. I haven't been to the new one. The old Yankee Stadium was. I knew it was going to be in a spooky neighborhood. I knew it was going to be in the Bronx. I knew it was going to be like you're taking your life into your own hands when you're walking to the stadium or wherever it is. But other than that, when you got in there, the Garden of Legends, where you see all the statues to people, everybody from Lou Gehrig to Babe Ruth to Mickey Mantle to Joe DeMaio. It's really a cool baseball place to be.
All right. Address this comment from Bob. He says, I'm overdue from sending money, but Pugs Moran doesn't show up on PayPal.
Yeah, Bob, I love you. Don't worry about being overdue, man. I anytime you can get to it, if you're so inclined, you can drop on Venmo, you can drop on Cash App. I'm having problems with the PayPal.
Really?
I'm having.
Is your card expired or something?
No, I don't have a PayPal card.
No. Like, if you have it put on your debit card or whatever.
No. It's functioning. It's just it's not really showing up all that great. So I'll tell you what. I've got to address that. It's just very few people use PayPal, so I haven't been really. And the couple of people who have reached out to me and say, I'll send it to your PayPal, they've just switched over to Venmo because Venmo is so easy. That seems to be the easiest one. So absolutely fantastic thought. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you keeping us there in mind. But don't you sweat it, buddy. Don't you sweat it. Just I'll figure it out. I'll let you know. Or if you just want it, probably easier just to switch over to Venmo. Let's see here. Gary says we only have 2 original parks left, Fenway and Wrigley. What Gary says sort of reminds me of another thing. I have been to another iconic baseball park, and although it doesn't go all the way back to, say, the 1920s, like Wrigley or Fenway, Dodger Stadium in LA is very cool. Just because of what the Dodgers have been for so long, and Dodger Stadium is really cool. Have you been to many stadiums?
No, not at all. I've been to 3 football NFL stadiums, and I've been to the Astrodome doesn't count. I've only been to the Texas Rangers for an MLB stadium.
So
I've been to 2 of their stadiums. And I have been to the Astrodome, but it's not a stadium anymore. So
yeah, I've never been to the Astrodome. I've been in the new thing down there, Reliant. I've been to Reliant down there, but not the Astrodome. I had a period in my life in my late 20s, through when you were working with me, when me and my friends, we would just book trips to go places for a weekend or whatever, and we would specifically do it to go to a game in like some iconic stadium. Like we did that with San Francisco. We went to San Francisco for a weekend because we wanted to see the what do they call it? McCovey Cove, where they hit the balls into the water with people.
Haven't you been to Lambeau?
I've been to Lambeau Curly Lambeau Field many times.
I made you say it wrong.
I hate that place. I will give it credit for being iconic, right? But it's benches. It's bench seats.
It looks like the Cotton Bowl. That's what the Cotton Bowl is.
Yes, it's exactly like that.
When you go to the Cotton Bowl, you're like, this is how people must have watched football before they had face masks, when they're just running around with leather helmets on. And back in the 30s or 40s or whenever that was built, you can tell, man, it feels like you're in the stands of some Popeye cartoon.
Do you want to know what the nicest baseball stadium is that I've ever been inside?
The nicest baseball stadium you've been to?
Nicest baseball stadium I've ever been inside.
No, which one?
Globe Life Park.
Oh, Rangers?
The brand new Ranger Stadium. The inside of the brand new Ranger Stadium is as nice a facility for a sporting event that I have ever seen in my life. Now, contrast that with the fact that from the outside, it is by far the ugliest stadium I have ever been in my life. But if you're at a game, you're not sitting in the parking lot looking at the outside. You are inside, and the amenities are amazing. That place is a palace inside. It looks like a Bass Pro Shop from the outside. That's, it's like, what is that? A Bass Pro? Oh, that's a baseball stadium. But they checked all the boxes on the inside of that stadium. That stadium's incredible. Now, do you want to know what the most beautiful stadium is from the outside that I've ever seen?
The old ballpark in Arlington.
I love that stadium. I still love the ballpark in Arlington. What a gorgeous facility.
Beautiful. I don't understand why they tear it down.
Did they tear it down? I thought it was still there.
You mean they just built a new one next to it?
Yeah. I think the ballpark in Arlington is still there.
Okay, so now the question is, why do they have 2 of them? What's the point? What are we doing?
Because soccer's going to pick up any minute now, James.
Sure it is.
Any minute now.
They built a cool Pizza Hut park up in Frisco for the soccer team, and they're not even filling it up.
If they could take the exterior of the old Ranger Stadium and combine it with the interior of the new Ranger Stadium, you'd have the baseball version of what Jerry has there at AT&T. You would have this incredibly, on all facets, beautiful stadium.
They need to build like a Bourbon Street type strip, or like a Lower Greenville or Deep Ellum, whatever you want to call it, between those 2 stadiums that would just service the the pre-party and the after party of every sporting event that happened there. And it would kill. It would be legendary. Everyone would have a story. Hey, have you been to the Arlington Quarter or whatever they would call it? Everyone would have a story. It would be amazing.
I wish they'd do something with the Cotton Bowl property. I wish that they would just tear that down and put a new like mega stadium there. So whether it can't be done now, of course, because Mavericks and
No.
Stars have their stadiums. Everybody's got their stadiums. Everybody's accounted for. But I am telling you, to have a stadium in Dallas that close to the Deep Ellum downtown area would be awesome.
Oh, wouldn't it?
It would do wonders for the Deep Ellum downtown area. It would, instead of just having like one game a year during the fair. I mean, this would be a couple of months per year where you'd have a lively, vibrant scene. Restaurants would pop up. There'd be accommodations for tourists that would suddenly start to pop up in that area. I mean, it would really be a great thing. Instead, we got the Cotton Bowl, which is a giant turd. That thing is so old and just...
I'll tell you what it was cool for is I've seen quite a few soccer games there because the FC Dallas used to play there, and when I was with y'all, and then there was an AM station I worked at in Dallas as well that I could get press passes. It's pretty easy to get press passes to a professional soccer game. They're just happy to show up. You show them credentials, they don't question it. Go ahead. So I loved going to the soccer games because I would get press passes, and I would bring usually a date after I figured I didn't really have to work,
And you get free food when you
got yes, and it was catered, and it was all right catered. It was catered by like Dickie's Barbecue or something. And so like me and Lizzie from work would just go up there and watch a game. That was amazing. And also I saw the United States national team play the Mexican national team in the Cotton Bowl. And oh, dude, it was fantastic. The US won, and they won in like the 90th minute, with basically the closest thing you can have to a walk-off goal. And it was a good time, and I thought it was a good setting for it. And I understand it's got to be miserable when it's 100 outside and you're in direct sunlight, but other than that, it's a usable stadium. You don't have to tear that thing down. Just find something to put there.
No, it's got it by today's standards, by today's expectations of the modern American sports money spender. It's the toilet situation is terrible. The stuff we need escalators. Come on, we are an obese diabetic nation at this point. We need elevators and escalators. We can't be walking up ramps.
Look. Leave it for a couple more decades, and it will have reached Lambeau Field status, where it's just so old and decrepit. That's part of its charm. And now it's like tearing down the Roman Colosseum. Of course, the bathrooms aren't up to date. That's not the point.
But Lambeau has been renovated multiple times over the years. I mean, Lambeau, although they do have, and I know we made the comparison to the Cotton Bowl between Lambeau. Lambeau does have like the bench seating, but the other amenities in Lambeau are all very modern. Everything they've done a really good job. Like, you're not peeing in troughs. There's not puddles of urine from 100-year-old pipes and plumbing that are bursting. It's Lambeau. Look, that's all they got in that town. They do a nice job with that place. That place. The other one that should be mentioned, and we haven't mentioned it because I despise the team, but Wrigley Field is very nice. I begrudgingly say that. It's very nice. I would hate to say that it is probably the nicest baseball stadium I've ever been to, but yeah, I'm going with the Rangers. I'm going with the new Rangers Stadium. To my Cub fan friends, if they're listening, they're probably just like, what are you talking about? Wrigley, and look, I'm being honest because I hate the Cubs and I hate everything about them and I hate the north side of Chicago, but that is admittedly a pretty great baseball experience if you can go for a Cubs White Sox game. It's the only reason that I ever find to go to Wrigley Field.
Real quick, Al's question: worst stadium in America? What's the worst stadium in America?
Worst stadium? Okay, worst stadium that I've been to. I don't know if it's the worst stadium in America because I haven't been to them all. What is the worst stadium that I have ever been to? Probably the old Soldier Field before the renovations. That would be the Soldier Field that I grew up going to. That place was awful. That was the oldest football stadium. That's older than Lambeau. It's built for veterans of World War I. I mean, that stadium is super old. Soldier Field was terrible. Three Rivers, the old Three Rivers in Cincinnati was
Pittsburgh.
Riverfront. You're right. Yeah. Three Rivers is Pittsburgh. Riverfront. The old Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati was just terrible. the old Milwaukee County Stadium where the Brewers used to play before they got Miller Park, which is beautiful. I totally forgot about Miller Park in Milwaukee. That place is awesome. But the old county stadium. Yeah, you know what? We're going to go with the old Milwaukee County Stadium as being the worst professional sports stadium I've ever been to. That place was
well
awful.
done.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to do a monologue?
I would love to do a monologue, Pugs.
All right, let's do this then. Let's get into a little monologue. Every day James comes to stage here and he entertains you. We'll get it started. Couple of second pause, waiting for the music to kick in. I did it again. I did it again. I did it again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Comfort Nest Lounge high atop the 1%er compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas. We've got a full slate of comedy for you tonight. Starting things off, he's known in all four corners of the globe. Please welcome to the Comfort Nest stage for your enjoyment, James Stephen Parker.
Ooh, Steven, I like that, huh? All right. Hey, so how you doing over there, Pugs? Economists are reporting an increase in shrinkflation. That's where the products shrink, but the prices stay the same. And I noticed this at the liquor store over the weekend when I bought a bottle of Seagram 6. Bought a bottle.
That's not Seagram 7.
Maybe I should have said like Colt 41. I don't know. It's just there's so many options. All right, Nigeria is cracking down on homosexuality. Bad news for you, Pugs. The laws over there are very strict. They're not allowing same-sex Heimlich maneuvers.
So here's where we run into the problem. James, you sent me a monologue cue sheet today, but it only had one cue. It's just got one. The first one, small laugh, according to the National Enquirer. Or that's the only thing I got. That's all I got. What? Yeah. Sent it 9:05. I got one joke. I got one.
I have more jokes than that.
Yeah, I know. But for some reason, usually you give me all of the cue sheet, but all I got is one. I've got one that says small laugh, according to the National
All right, here. Go ahead. I just resent it, and we can just keep this going. You can go ahead and laugh at the same-sex Heimlich maneuver joke. That was pretty good. According to a new study, contraceptives that turn up in our waterways are now causing fish to become transgender. To give you an idea of how bad it is, Charlie the tuna is now Caitlin the tuna.
Oh,
Caitlin
God.
the tuna.
Okay.
There a delay on that one? Madonna is calling for more gun control, which is nothing new. She's been campaigning against guns since the OK Corral. Because she's old. According to the National Enquirer, Joe and Jill Biden's marriage is getting a little rocky. To give you an idea of how bad it is, yesterday she was in a tank top that said, "Let's go, Brandon."
Stop getting red. Those two love each other. Go ahead, continue.
Best babysitter ever. July is National Horseradish Month. There's now a global shortage, Pugs, of horseradish, but it's not really that big of a deal because you can make your own. All you need is a radish and a horse, I think.
That's
all it takes. Little horse. What'd you think of? Happy birthday, Pugs. Sylvester Stallone. How old do you think he is today, Pugs?
We did it during noon. He's 75, something like that.
76 years old. 76. I don't want to say he's getting old, but his next movie, Rocky gets a walk-in.
Oh, look at that.
You want to do another birthday here? It's the happy birthday to the Dalai Lama. He is 87 years old today. And if you want to send him a gift, he could use a pair. Bunch of Buddhists today. And finally, birthday to rapper 50 Cent, who is 47 years old today. I don't want to say he's getting old, but he's got a new remix of Magic Stick called Hurricane.
All right. A little distracted. First I want to show you something. Love this. Hold on. Let me get your hot take on this. Did you see this? So you know, wait a second. What the fudge?
What the fudge?
Why is it gone now? Why did they redo this? Oh my God. Okay. So today on the noon show, I had something I was saving that I wanted to show you, but for some reason, I clicked on the link that I used earlier today to show all the people watching during the high noon show this photo, and it showed the photo. And then today I just clicked on the same link and it's the same story, but they've removed the photo. And I don't know why.
Well, what's the photo?
Well, here, let's see if I can find it real quick. This is not fun. This is where, dude, I can't. Oh, there it is. All right, James, I want you to get a look at this, okay? Here we are. This was trending earlier today, and all right, well, I'll just tell you what was trending. What was trending was, are you ready for this? Are you ready? Pelosi's jugs. Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, I saw this, yeah.
You see this?
Yeah, she's packing heat.
This is a different picture than I showed during the noon show, but I was able to find this fairly easily. All I did was look at Pelosi's jugs. The picture from earlier today was much closer up, and it was you really got to see the voluminous. Her bosom is ample. I'll put it that way. 82-year-old Nancy Pelosi is in Italy on a little European vacation, and she was photographed at the beach. Here she is at the beach. She's wearing pants, but okay, whatever. She's at the beach. Did you know Nancy Pelosi was like a double D? Did you know that she had these massive bazongas? She does.
I did, but I'm a little more of a dirtbag than the average citizen, so I'd noticed her jugs a long time ago. So yeah, I mean this is a better shot of them than we're all accustomed to, but this is no surprise to me.
I have never, and now I haven't done this yet because I meant to. I was thinking about doing it, but somehow I got distracted after the show. I've never seen pictures of her when she was younger. Like, was she hot? Because
yeah, she was pretty hot.
She didn't have kind of. Those are real, you know, so she must have had kind of a rockin' bod for a lady back in the 1960s.
I don't think those are real, bro. She looked a lot like Jane Fonda looked in the late 60s. You know how Jane Fonda does not look like Jane Fonda looks now at all? Nancy Pelosi kind of had the same thing going, but you can piece it together. It'd be like, you know, what if you took a beautiful girl and left her out in the sun like a raisin or whatever? You'd get a Nancy Pelosi or a Jane Fonda. And that's not fair because that happens to all of us, but yeah.
I want to go back to something you just said. You're telling me that you believe the Speaker of the House has fake breasts. The much maligned, anything that she does gets widely publicized and trashed by the people of American talk radio and everything she does. And I have never heard claims that she got fake breasts. That seems like something that they would throw out there as a negative to show what I don't know what frivolous or shallow woman she is.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but when has fake boobs ever been used as a criticism?
Oh my God! If Hillary Clinton got fake boobs, you don't think Bill O'Reilly would have a couple of thoughts on that? You don't think that Tucker? Really? Are you kidding me? You mean if
it would be weird if she got fake boobs because she's like 78 now, but if she had gotten them when she was like 50 or whatever, that's kind of normal for look. And maybe they're not like giant implants or whatever, but there's been a lift. There's been some work done, I imagine. If not, kudos to her. But yeah, there's no complaint over having great boobs. What kind of weird criticism would that be? Yeah, oh, God, look at my opponent. Why would you vote for her? You see how sexy she is? Jeez.
Do I need to come up with a list of weird criticisms that the right?
No. You need to come up with come up with one politician that's gotten criticized for fake boobs, and it would make sense.
Oh well, I mean, I don't. I'm trying to think. I mean, I think they would use it to sort of, I don't know, suggest that she's, like I said, frivolous or shallow or less than, serious person. Anything.
I mean, you would think that, but no one's done it before. Why do you think that? No one's ever done it.
And that's why I don't think they're fake. I think that if there was any proof or any sort of a story going around that Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, hated by 50% of this country, I would think I would have heard that somewhere about, because I'm a boob man. I like boobs. I would have been interested.
No, I see where you're coming at with this, but I think for once in your life, you're actually just being a decent human being, and you're not thinking like a politician. That's why I'm here. Okay, so look at John McCain. Is he going to criticize her for having fake boobs when his wife has fake boobs? What about Donald Trump? Is he going to criticize her for having fake boobs when his wife has fake boobs? All these guys that you think would criticize him, how many of them, their wives, their ex-wives, their current wife, their mistress, their babysitter, whatever, have fake boobs? These people are surrounded by fake boobs. They're probably right now paying for fake boobs for their chief of staff just so they'd get better media coverage. Fake boobs are have no stigma attached to them whatsoever in the political world.
Yeah, you might be right, but I don't. But what you're saying is that there would be a consistency in the criticism, and I'm telling you that there is no consistency in the criticism when it comes from the right towards libtards. There is no. It's not like a guy. Yes, a guy like I don't know, Matt Gaetz.
No, dude, I'm telling you, there is a consistency. There hasn't been one. There hasn't been one criticism of big boobs. There is consistency. That fake boobs have never been the subject of an attack on someone's political whatever.
I think that they made a lot of hay out of Stormy Daniels. They talked about her, and I do specifically remember a conversation where she was basically dissected by who was it that I was listening to? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think you make a good point that I hadn't really thought through about the number of high-profile right-wing people right-wing people, because these are the people that would make the criticisms against Nancy Pelosi. We're talking about she is a target. She is a target of the political opposition. But I guess you're right. I hadn't really thought about that. I guess that they all do have big-haired, fake-boobed, plastic surgery wives. So, yeah, you might be right. Maybe that is true. Hold on. I found something here. Though she never laid to rest the plastic surgery rumors around her by either admitting or denying it, it is believed that she must have gotten some helping hand from the surgeon's scalpel. Pelosi has had a fair share of plastic surgery speculation, ranging from Botox to facelift to neck lift to eye lift and breast augmentation. I've never heard that before. Renowned plastic surgeons such as Dr. Anthony Yoon have also supported the allegations, saying that Pelosi seems to have slowed down her aging by going under the surgeon's knife. A woman her age shouldn't look that good. It appears that she has had a good amount of surgery, probably an eye lift and even a facelift, Dr. Yoon told thewashingtontimes.com. So still no answer on the boobs. We don't know.
So, yeah, you can tell that she's had the eye lift, she's had a facelift, she's had Botox, she's had the chin tuck, the chin lift, instead of having the turkey waddle that hangs down there, they pull it off to the sides and they make you a little bitty line right there. You can kind of see that. So, yeah, once you start down the plastic surgery road, might as well throw in a lipo or a tummy tuck or maybe a lift. It's not a big deal. It looks great.
Well, I do make a distinction. I draw a line between what would be just pedestrian plastic surgery, and by that I mean a facelift. I mean, any woman of means gets some form of plastic surgery these days. If you're a 55-year-old high-powered female attorney, you've probably had a facelift.
Sybil gets injections. She gets fillers.
Has Nancy Pelosi had breast augmentation? Here is a specific answer to that question. One would be tempted to ask why a lady the age of Nancy Pelosi would need a boob job. Surprisingly, from observation, it's most likely that Pelosi had breast augmentation. From her before pics, Pelosi's bust appears to be smaller as opposed to her recent images where the same cleavage appears to be boosted. Where are they getting all these pictures of Nancy Pelosi's cleavage? I have never seen it until about 10 hours ago.
God, dang. Dude, I'm sorry. I wish I could remember why, But this came up in like 2006, 2007 for some reason, and I had to look it up. I remember I was on the Patriot Channel on Sirius satellite radio, and we had to walk through the history of Pelosi's boobs, and that's how I know what she looks like when she was in her 20s. And they're all black and white pictures because they have, oh my God, they probably still had wooden cars or whatever when she was a kid. But I had to go back and forensically put together the timeline of Nancy Pelosi's boobs, and that we came out with a theory. Just generally speaking, this isn't 100%. Just our shallow opinion that she probably had a lift, and that's okay. The world's better off for it. I appreciate the fact that she did that. I think they look great. I disagree with her politically, but who cares? We're talking about boobs. This is important.
She's got great big giant boobs. All right, so I have pulled up a couple of pictures of a young Nancy Pelosi. She's not,
Kind of cute, right?
I'll put it to you this way. I should be so lucky to date her. She was an attractive woman. Here, let me pull up. I'll show you a couple of pictures here while we.
I remember being surprised when I found the old pictures of her. I was like, "Whoa!"
Let's see. All right, there you go. She's still got the crazy.
Cute as hell.
Yeah, but she's got crazy bitch eyes. She really does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's got like, "Oh, you're breaking up with me," kind of eyes.
No, go old. There's some pictures of her where she's like 20 and she looks great. She looks even better.
I just want to stop down on this one for a second here. One of the things, is there something that your wife wears that just makes you nuts? Like that, not nuts in a good way. Like that, it's just because see the choker she's wearing.
You're into chokers?
Oh, God, I don't know what it is. I just love. I'm a neck guy. I like necks. I like to kiss necks. I like the back of necks. And for some reason, chokers, when a girl wears like a choke, I don't
because it reminds you of a dog collar, and that makes you the man that's in control.
I don't think that's it.
No, that's not it.
With any sort of misogynistic fantasy or anything.
Oh, it has to be misogynistic. You can just be submissive versus dominant. It doesn't have to be a gender thing. You like yanking them around by their neck? Is that what you?
Technically, that's true. Your argument is it holds water. So look at right there. All right, here you got some boobs here. These are we're seeing her boobs there.
Nice.
She's 82 now. So what is she here? Like 62? That's holding together.
No, she looks like 70 something.
Then that's really holding together.
So it is. Well, there's also a bra helping. So you can tell her age by the eyes. She's had. I've counted 2 different eye clips. You know how my eyes are already starting to do it, where the skin starts to sag on the outside. She has had at least twice. She has had that eyebrow movement, and that's how you can see. That's she's only had 1 clip there. She's had 2 clips in current times. There's 1 clip there, and if you can go back before the first eye clip, when her eyebrow is sitting right on the occipital bone or whatever that's called, orbital bone, I think. There it is. Look, that's the super young stuff. There's a few pictures of her like this where she's like 20, where you know what? That's pretty cute. That's not a 10. She's not going to be on Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, but a lot better than she looks now. Look at that.
She's a good looking girl. She's
cute.
A girl that any guy would be lucky to date, you know? Look at this one. Don't tell me certain people aren't fast tracked to power. 16-year-old Nancy Pelosi just happened to be hanging out with John F. Kennedy. Look at that. How does that happen? Well, it happens because her dad was like one of the most powerful mayors in America.
Where's his hand? Where's his right hand right now? Yeah.
I don't know, but look at him. He's liking her. Look at her.
Yeah.
He's like,
hey, good enough for JFK, good enough for me.
That's right. Yeah. You know her dad was the political crime boss of Baltimore, right? You know her backstory, don't you?
I know some of that backstory. Like, wasn't her dad the mayor of Baltimore?
Mayor, very powerful guy for a lot of years there in that area. The wrinkles are setting in. There you go. She's got the.
Yeah, she does not look good now, but even Nancy Pelosi in the 80s was pretty cute.
Oh, okay, there you go. Look at that. There you get an idea of the top shelf. That's look at her. That's pretty good for a woman in her 80s, man. Right? I mean,
dude, see, I have the same issue going on with my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is like 67 or something right now. And she's just got the rack that won't quit like that. And so every once in a while, she'll put on a spaghetti strap tank top or whatever when we go out for happy hour. And it's like, people bump me and they're like, dude, look at your mother-in-law. I'm like, I know.
I like that one.
That's awful. That messes with my head and I don't like it. No. No.
No. What is that, like Brooke Burke's body?
Right.
All right, there you go. I just thought it was just like a new thing that I realized today. I was like, oh my God, the Speaker of the House. First time in history that I believe I fondled the breasts of a Speaker of the House.
It also shows the power of the boob, where people from all sides of the political spectrum can come together and actually agree that, you know, that's pretty nice. That's well done. We should all.
Because you're a right-leaning libertarian and I am a left-leaning, moderate independent who votes almost exclusively Democratic. And look at us. We're both agreeing that the boob situation.
Nice boobs. Nice boobs.
The one thing that we can all come together on in this country is nice boobs.
Well done. Yes.
We can't come together on anything else, even the slaughter of children. Boobs? Please.
Yeah, this is important. Babies dying, whatever. We're talking about boobs.
Men from all walks of life can sit down and have a beer and discuss boobs without screaming at each other.
Right. Inflation, nuclear proliferation, mass murder, children dying, whatever, women's rights. Shut up. Boobs. Boobs are on the screen. This is important.
Just talk about boobs. All right. Boy, we are running through today's show. One other thing that I wanted to mention, I'm sure you've got something.
I do.
But I've been watching this all night, so let me just mention this really quickly. Wow, what if this is the thing that you wanted to talk about?
It's not.
Did you see what's happening with the Georgia Guidestones?
Oh, there's an update on them? Because there was a Guidestone joke earlier, like James Guidestone Parker or whatever. What was the joke over there? We had a Guidestone reference in the comments earlier. Yeah, James Guidestone Parker. Yeah. There was Byron. He made the joke 27 minutes into the show. James Guidestone Parker. I guess that would have been a good monologue intro.
Are you following this story?
But I know what the Guidestones are. What's the new there's an update on them?
So tell me what the Guidestones are. Tell me what you believe the Guidestones are.
What I believe the Guidestones are?
Well, from what I understand, and I've been watching coverage of it, nobody really knows what the hell the story is behind it because the people who built it are anonymous.
Did you know about the Guidestones before today?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
It's been a pretty controversial thing where people for years now, and by the way, even though they look like they were built, back when Jesus was walking around in sandals, they're like from the 80s, right? Wasn't that when they're from? They were built.
Yeah, it's like 20 years. It wasn't that long ago. It was like 20, 30 years ago. So this guy shows up in Georgia at a place that makes headstones, and he said, how much will it cost for you to carve out of marble in a way that will last for millennia? This giant declaration, basically, and I want it on. I think it's 4 Guidestones, and so there are these giant stones that are like, what is it, 8 feet tall or something, and so the guys at the marble shop, at the headstone place, they did not like the content of what they wanted to have etched in these stones, so they gave them an estimate that was so ridiculously high that they thought certainly this would be turned down. And when they gave the dude the estimate, he said, okay. Now the stipulations is this is going to be paid for in cash. It's going to be untraceable. He used a fake name. He will remain anonymous forever. It's going to be placed on this plot of land that somehow through legal machinations, aren't they holding the ownership in a trust or something? You don't know who owns the land.
Right. Yeah.
And so they have this these 4 giant Guidestones that have this declaration of principles that, I mean, someone has to agree with these principles out there, but 95% of America, if not 99, would find these pretty offensive. And it talks about how like the population maximum of this earth needs to be whittled down by like 300 to about 300 million or something to that effect.
Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature.
Oh my God. So first off, that's the scariest one. The racism or whatever is all secondary to the fact that 13 out of 14 people have to die in order for these principles to be realized.
What do we got? Like 6 billion people on the planet?
We're up to almost 8. We're past 7.
So we need to kill off 7.5 billion people in order to maintain what this Guidestone wants.
And
5 billion can stay. The rest need to go. Another one of the inscriptions is guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So they're trying to make better people.
Well, yeah, but they talk about human beings like we talk about animal husbandry in the cattle world.
Mm-hmm. One of the third inscriptions here. I can run through these really quick.
Oh, please do, because I don't have memorized. Go ahead.
Unite humanity with a living new language. 4,
Gay.
Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with a tempered reason.
Yikes.
5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts.
Sounds okay.
That looks good on paper. Looks good on a.
Look, there's a small chunk of the Nazi platform that any American would agree with.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, people love that the trains ran on time, or so I'm told. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. New World Order stuff right here.
Don't like that.
That's not popular. Avoid petty laws and useless officials.
Oh, I love that one. See, that one sings my song.
Balance personal rights with social duties. Balance personal. So your rights are dependent on what you give. They're not God-given and sovereign to each living human being. They are earned through your own deeds and giving back.
No. That's collective versus individual rights is what they're talking about.
Balance personal rights with social duties. Is that the interpretation? Okay. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. And 10, the 10th inscription in the Georgia Guidestones, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. It says it twice. So they're very, it sounds like a bunch of Nazi environmentalists. That's
eugenics. It sounds like eugenicists. First for the population control and then for the population guidance where you're specific about your breeding and you're breeding for specific traits. And when they talk about diversity, within the breeding stock, that's eugenics. That's
Jeff points out Thanos wasn't even that horrible. Thanos only wiped out half the population. These people want way more than that. Well, James, we have all been describing the Guidestones improperly, incorrectly, the last 5 minutes or so that we've been discussing this. Because, quite frankly, James, we need to start describing and talking about the Georgia Guidestones in the past tense, because they're not there anymore. And that's why this big story is going, huh? Dude?
What happened?
People blew it up this morning. A bunch of dudes went over there with a whole bunch of bombs and blew it the fuck up. They blew it up. Boom. There's video. You haven't seen the video of them blowing up the Georgia?
No, but this is a sad day. This is awful. This is as horrible as what those stupid stones said, and I disagree strongly with anyone who freaking thinks that's a good idea of how we should arrange society. You've just lowered yourself to below them by going and blowing up their stones. It's a testament to what a free country this is that we would allow stones like that to stand. I think they should be allowed to stand forever. The dumbest, stupidest thing on a stones. Let it stand forever so the whole world can see how tolerant and open and free we are. And I guess we're not. I guess we're not any better than the Georgia Guidestones guys.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's not like they're on the National Mall. It's not like that they're right next to the Washington Monument or the Supreme Court. I mean, this is if people want to have, people are allowed to have crazy thoughts and they're allowed to build things with their own money on private property.
Right. And if I had $2 million to build my own Guidestones, one of them would be like, if you blow these up, you're a piece of garbage that's no greater than just your common vandal.
On July 6th, 2022, at approximately 4:03 a.m. Eastern Time, an explosion occurred. This from the Wikipedia page. Oh, and by the way, it's very sad. When you go to the Georgia Guidestones Wikipedia page, it does that thing when people die, where it says the Georgia Guidestones were a monument built. Instead of a monument built, they changed it already. On July 6, 2022 at 4:03 a.m., an explosion occurred at the Georgia Guidestones, destroying one tablet and damaging others. The remainder of the structure was leveled for safety reasons later in the day. No motive has been publicly shared and no suspects have been publicly identified. I mean, this is here. You want to see the video? Should we watch
You know
the video?
who blows up monuments? The Taliban. That's who blows up monuments they don't agree with. Just because someone goes and carves something in stone that you disagree with doesn't mean you have the right to go blow it up. You piece of garbage. Way to be lower on the civilization totem pole than the eugenicist. What the hell is the matter with you people? It's a damn rock. Are you so threatened by stupid ideas that you have to go blow up someone else's rock? Didn't you have to go to work today? Didn't you have something to do besides go blow up a monument? Here's what you should have done. You should have gone and bought the land next to it, made an even bigger monument that talks about how stupid the guidestones next door are. That's what you do. You don't go shut people up. You don't go erase history. You don't go erase monuments. You don't go destroy private property that's not yours because you disagree with what's obviously a stupid idea. I can't believe this is disgusting. This is awful. This is awful for humanity.
All right, here we go. Here's what went down at 4:03 in the morning.
We have a webcam on this?
It looks like a security cam. A ring
sure.
doorbell. There they went. Yeah, let's watch it one more time. Boom. 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 Yeah, so this happened early in the morning. It was all the buzz earlier today. And then this afternoon, they went in there and they tore everything down. They said, you know what? We can't leave this thing standing because it's so unstable now. These are like 5-ton granite. You know, there's like it's teetering up there. So they took the whole thing down. Maybe this is a way to unravel the riddle, if you will. Maybe now the people responsible will step. Maybe now we'll find out a little bit more about it. Because you would think that they would defiantly rebuild, right? I mean, doesn't it seems like the people who would do this in the first place would defiantly rebuild. Right?
Well, the thing is it cost millions of dollars to put that up to begin with, and why would they do this again if it's just going to get blowed up? One of the good things you can do to cut these people off at the knees is to let the Georgia Guidestones stand, even pay some attention to them, and the people that put them up will notice, like, damn, we've had these Guidestones up for like 20 years now, and no one's rallied against them. In fact, they've been an object of ridicule. You know, I guess our ideas, you know, are just a subject of mockery. Well, now what do they say? Well, now they're just going to redouble their efforts. Now they're like, well, we're not going to be silenced by some terrorist, because when you do an active property destruction like this for political purposes, you become a terrorist.
Yeah. That's absolutely. Well,
you do. That's the definition of terrorism: violence or intimidation for a political purpose.
Right. Who was intimidated here, though? Who was the violence?
The violence. Oh, and blowing up someone's private property is an intimidation. Oh, you hold these. I hate your policies so much, I'm going to blow up this stone just because you wrote your policies on it.
I think it's important to make a distinction between actual terrorism that targets innocents than, you know, targeting a bunch of stone rocks. I think you're being a bit disingenuous with that comparison, but it is an act of certainly civil destruction. I mean, it's an act of vandalism of the highest. I would go so far as to say that it's an act of vandalism.
Listen, if a Muslim goes and blows up an empty Jewish synagogue, it's called an act of terror. This is similar to that. Even though no one's hurt, it's obviously to intimidate people who hold the beliefs that were on those stones from keeping their damn mouth shut.
But we don't know at this point what the whole thing was. This could have just been a bunch of drunk teenagers with leftover fireworks. This could have been anything. You're sort of suggesting that this is some underground group that's been stewing over these monuments for years, and they put this plan together. You know, when you made the correlation between a Muslim going into a Jewish synagogue and killing people. No, we know what that's about. That's about a religious war. That's about one religion blaming another religion for something. We don't know what this is. That's 2 days after the 4th of July, man. This could just be.
I think it's pretty safe to assume. You're right. I don't know, and we don't have the evidence yet, but there's no other explanation on why someone would attack these Georgia Guidestones. Plus, there's been threats against the Georgia Guidestones constantly since they've been put up. Mm-hmm. And I've always been really proud that, you know, even the dumbest ideas can be put on stone for millennia to see going forward. And this is such a free, tolerant, open-minded country that we don't blow them up. We just tell you how these Georgia Guidestones are stupid, and, you know, leave it there. And I don't know. It's an ugly precedent to set, and it follows with the whole blowing up monuments or taking down monuments. Just everywhere. It's like that's not the way you do it, man. That's what the Taliban does. That's not what we do. This is a free country that allows stupid ideas.
We live in the era of the ugly precedent. I mean, there are things that happen now on the regular that are far worse than this. Fourth of July parade, Uvalde shooting, Buffalo supermarket. I don't know that I can get all of that worked up over a bunch of yahoos blowing up some granite Stonehenge light structure out there in rural Georgia. But I mean, I do understand your more
Libertarian. I know you don't want to say it, but it's libertarian.
No. I was saying more of an existential lament about this whole thing. What's the greater meaning of this as opposed to it's troubling that people feel compelled to silence others because they have a point of view or an opinion that differs from them. You're right. Existentially speaking, in the greater, realm of everything, that's troubling. But at the end of the day, it's a it's a bunch of rocks with some stupid things crawled on it. I can't really get all that worked up on it. After what we've been through the last couple of months, I reserve the right to just kind of chuckle at this and be like, well, okay, I'll take this for the breaking news over some of the other breaking news that we've had the past couple of months. You had something, and we're out of time, but I don't have to rush or anything. So, what did you want to get into? What did you have? You had something.
Dude, I'd never seen this before. I'm a big fan of fireworks. I'm pretty much like Joe Dirt. The scene from Joe Dirt where he rips through the fireworks. That's me, dude. Oh, I love fireworks.
Last night, Country Mouse, City Rat. Mm-hmm. We're just different. We grew up differently in this area.
So I just read that at midnight on Monday, so I guess technically it was Tuesday, a 43-year-old man, a dude who's about my age in San Antonio, put an artillery shell in the little tube on his head, and when it shot off, it kind of busted his head up, and they said the words he was suffering from severe head trauma. But when you go read in, the explosion had brain matter exposed from his skull.
Oh, his head bones. Oh.
So it somehow blew through his skull so hard that people standing next to him could see parts of his brain in the little indentation that was on the top of his head.
Where did this happen?
San Antonio, where fireworks are banned. All the dumb Joe Dirt, inbred, mouth breathing, booger eating, white trash hicks in flyover country and rural areas everywhere. No one blew their heads off, but the one of the few places where it's banned, a major metropolitan area, San Antonio, some dude blew a hole in his head. I've never heard of that before. I've never.
One of my favorite things that usually occur around July 5th or July 6th is we start to get these stories like the ones you just shared. We also now, because we live in the modern era where everything is digitally recorded, now we get video of these things. Any video of that exist? Anybody filming while he tried this little stunt?
Oh, it'll probably show up tomorrow. I can't wait. Because we do this cool thing now that I've made a tradition ever since the new iPhones came out, that you could do one of the firework fountains where you set it down and just goes and spews stuff like maybe 6, 8, 10 feet tall. I run around behind it and then I jump through it like in a swan, like Willem Dafoe in Platoon, just fly through it, with my arms out. And when you do it in the slow-mo camera, there's like all these sparks going around me and I'm just going through the fire and it looks so cool. So yeah, I've got a lot of video of that.
All right, so let me ask you, did you see this one? This Simply Safe was putting this out?
Yeah, because there's the bag of fireworks that's behind the van right now. For those of you who hadn't seen it, just that van right there, that's where all the fireworks are. And why are they doing this when it's light out, you morons?
Right. Thank you. That's one of the first things that I thought. I'm like, why are they blowing off fireworks when the sun is still out?
Yeah, you lose your white card if you start doing fireworks in the daytime. You should know better.
My next thought was, you're telling me that one of these guys didn't look over at the arsenal, the armory of explosives behind the minivan and go, maybe it's not a great idea to have all of it in the same spot so near where we're blowing off bottle rockets or whatever. Here, let's watch this. You've seen this though, right?
Oh yeah, I love it.
I love how it gets
Simply
even worse.
Safe. I love how it says Simply Safe in the corner. Simply unsafe.
Watch Mom in orange. Orange Mom right here. Look at her. Look, she gets the baby out of there. Out of there. Get that baby out of there.
Once that first one pops over behind the van, it's over. Guy in blue knows it's. That's what you dream about happening. Hey, that actually happened at my parents' house about a decade ago. My sister married a guy from Houston, from Clear Lake, and his sister and her husband were coming up for 4th of July. And these people were like 40 years old, and they had never popped fireworks before, and their kids had never popped fireworks before because they always lived in Houston, and you got to drive an hour to get to the country if you live in the middle of Houston, right? So this was their first time so they went nuts. They bought like $300 of fireworks. And the same thing happened, except it was sitting next to their car just like it was. But the first initial thrust of the explosion in the bag pushed the bag under the car. So there's like this white sedan that just has these sparks coming out of it for like 4 minutes. It takes forever for all the stuff to burn through. But I actually saw that something tipped over and blew right into the bag.
Brady brings up a good point. He says, think of the damage to that car. I mean, that car, there's some damage to that car. There's some tires that have been melted. There are, you know what I mean? There's
maybe. Yeah, that'd be great.
There's some electrical damage. I am certain. I promise you those taillights don't work anymore. All of the wiring and the plastic around the tail, those are melted.
So cool. So cool.
That thing. All right, that's it. We're out of time. But I do have one thing that I want to do. Can I show you a quick 1.5-minute video that my son found? And he thinks it's the funniest thing. It is pretty funny. And I told him that I would share it with everybody today.
No, take your time. I already smashed it today. I got time.
All right. So this is just a video that my son found. And I we do this thing where we make each other watch videos. And sometimes some of the stuff that he brings isn't that great. It's like, But other times he does find funny stuff. He's got a good sense of humor. He brought this made me actually laugh out loud. This is a very funny video that my 13-year-old son found on YouTube. Here, I want to share it with you right now. Let's just watch this. It's let's see here. It might even be famous. You know what I mean? It might even be something that people have seen before. I've never seen it, but then again, I'm a middle-aged white guy, so I'm not up on all of these super cool. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't know what. But here, let me show you this. All right, here we go. This is a new invention. This is a young inventor who has legit inventor who has invented something new. And here, all right, see, there he is. Doesn't he kind of look like Ben Shapiro?
Kind of.
To me, I thought
Ben Shapiro, first cousin, maybe.
My first thought was, it looks like that kind of looks like Ben Shapiro a little bit. I mean, other than the haircut doesn't look like it, but the rest of it. Okay, so here, let's watch this. This is a video that my son found, and I told him that I'd play it.
I created this personalized air filter for people that really care about the air that they breathe. At the top here are 2 plugs that go into your nose that filter the air coming in. There's holes in the bottom of it, and when you open it, there's a little filter on the inside that can be exchanged out. Breaths of fresh air. In the future, with one purchase of one of these air filters, comes a free armband that says, "I'm the solution," as in I'm the solution to pollution. Is there a problem right now? According to the EPA, roughly 82% of greenhouse gases is contributed by carbon dioxide. We, as humans, exhale carbon dioxide. So I think to help the planet a little bit better is getting rid of about 5-6 million people. And the people that still don't believe that air pollution is a problem, what we can do is gather those people up, put them inside of little rooms, and fill it with the toxic greenhouse gases to give them kind of a feel of, what it's like to breathe in that gas. And then they'll want to join us for sure. And if they don't want to do it, we'll do it by force if necessary. We start with Poland, and then we get out to...
That took a turn, didn't it?
That was great.
I know. That guy's
We'll
fine.
start with Poland.
He pulls out a gun. It progressively gets more and more Hitler.
That was great.
Fun we have here on the Pillow Talk Show. All right, James, you got anything else?
Not for tonight. I can save for tomorrow.
All right, yeah, we will be back tomorrow. James, turn around. Look behind you, right there.
Wait. I want to tell you, just so I can put it in your mind. I want to have a serious conversation with you and the smart asses over in the comment section tomorrow about the pity smash, and the realm of people who are married. Does the pity smash has played a role in all of our lives, and we just have to have a talk about it. That's tomorrow.
People in the chat room are saying, yeah, we'll do that. People in the chat room want to know how to find that video on YouTube. It seems to be titled COVID Nose Air Filter Be the Solution. COVID Nose Air Filter Be the Solution. That's how you search that.
Yeah. And by the way, Bob, Brady, Byron, John, Jeff, other Jeff, all you buttholes, go find the Florida Stories podcast and follow it and share it. Can you do that for me too while you're at it? Looking up your Nazi fun.
Oh, yeah. What do you need? What do I need? He says something. I had a question and he disappeared. All right, folks, we're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow at noon for a high noon show. High noon is show I do alone every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Topics, current events, headlines, anything that's happening in the world. We bam, we run through them one after another. Join me, won't you? That's every Monday through Friday at noon Central Standard Time right here on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. Or you can connect to the show by going to pugscast.com. Join the YouTube page, do all that stuff. If you can help out with the show, tip a little bit. There you go. You got the Venmo, you got the Cash App, you got all of those things down there. The show runs on your gratuities. We certainly do appreciate it. That's it. I guess we got nothing else. You guys have a great night. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.